Welcome again this week to Kings Spotlight. We are in week 4 with Kings College football coach Jeff Knarr. Jeff, thank you for being with us again today.
Thanks for having me.
Jeff, we're going to talk about this week's homecoming game with Lebanon Valley College. But first, let's just briefly talk about last week's game. A tough loss to a very, very good Delaware Valley College team, ranked 14th nationally last week. They've moved up to 13 in this week's national poll. It was a type of game where we needed to play a really, really clean game, and unfortunately it was kind of a Murphy's Law day for Kings in that particular day. Can you just talk a little bit about what happened?
Yeah, I mean, kind of in all three phases, everything kind of went, what could go wrong kind of, went wrong. We didn't, got off to a pretty good start offensively, and had a breakdown there, and then kind of making mistakes, and a lot of it was unforced errors. I think we had 10, unforced errors on offense, and then, way too many penalties and a lot of missed tackles, on defense. And then, the bottom line, the first half, because of all that, I mean, Del Val had, average starting field position was inside, our 50, on the plus side of the field, and we were way back, and it was a difference of 33 yards in starting field position, and you can't do that when you're playing a team that's as talented as they are. So we had to, like you said, play clean, get a good start, get some good things going, and we just couldn't get in the rhythm offensively, so we got off the field. I mean, we want to run twice as many plays as our opponent, and at halftime they had ran twice as many plays as us. So, I mean, it was all bad. We didn't do a good job of a team, of the offense helping the defense and the special teams helping, both from that standpoint. And because defensively, we put them in some bad spots, but then we got them in good long yardage situations, and then Del Val found a way to make a play from that deal. So it was kind of, I said, a Murphy's Law thing where we just couldn't get in the rhythm early, got way behind, and then it just kind of snowballed from there, which good teams are going to do if things happen from there. So we worked on the kids and show them what we got to do to handle that situation a little bit better, and coach them up better on the some of the unforced errors that we had, and then looking forward to this Saturday.
Well, clearly you have a team that didn't quit. You were down big, but then in the second half you held them to 7 points and scored 14 ourselves. So what do you say at halftime to your team in that situation, and what is your thoughts about how the guys just refused to quit in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, we asked them to come out and play the third quarter because we knew Del Val was going to play their starters for the third, and then the fourth, we have an opportunity to play some young guys. And, we just said, hey, we got to play the way we are capable and know how to play. And then, our first drive was, typical how we do things and want to operate. Our special teams, we had a nice punt that pinned them deep. Our defense, did a great job of stopping them at 3 and out, so they were backed up. They punt the ball. We now get great field position at the plus 41 and go right down the field and score a touchdown. So that's kind of what we want, where all three phases are working together. And, it was probably maybe, one of the worst halves we had, but it wasn't the worst game we've had here because, again, the kids, they are, one thing they are is resilient, and they refuse to quit. They were disappointed, how things went in the first half, but they showed their true colors and their pride for themselves and for each other and Kings College, and went out there and and played hard in the second half and started to do some good things that we can build on and use going forward for this Saturday.
This week you have an opportunity to turn that around as we have Lebanon Valley coming into McCarthy Stadium for Kings homecoming game on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Lebanon Valley is a team which also had a very tough opponent last week. They lost to 24th ranked Stevenson University 24-13 on the road in Maryland, and it's a game that's almost like a playoff game for both teams. Both teams were 1-1 in the conference, and a loss for either team kind of puts you in a hole looking to compete for any type of a postseason opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, you never want to be 2 games down, like 3 games into from the conference from that standpoint. But we just, talk to our kids just about, just a chance to get our second win of the season, get back to 500, and get back to playing, good, solid football in all 3 phases. And this is, a team that's going to, we've had some great battles the last 2 years. It's been, 2 defensive struggles where field position has played a huge part, in the game, and special teams has been a factor in the game both times. So it's, the last 2 years, couple years has been a really, slugfest with these guys.
Well, speaking of those last 2 years, they've probably been the lowest scoring games that you have played versus an opponent since you've been here. Last year, Lebanon Valley won 10-6, and the year before we won 10-7. So talk about those games, what they were. Were they more running games? Were they a combination of running, passing? Clearly good defense, though.
Yeah, I think at 14, it was a cloudy, rainy, overcast day here. The wind, played a little bit of a factor. So it was, there's always wind at our place, but it was a little higher than normal, and the one direction, so it hurt the passing game from that deal. We actually had a touchdown call back, on a phantom hold, from that deal. But they're very good on defense. They like to run the ball, eat the clock. We were balanced pro-style attack, and we were pretty solid on defense the last 2 years. So you had two teams that were very similar offensively, similar defensively, and then the defense has been a little more more stout from that deal. And the key so they're going to be low scoring. And the key was in the kick game. In 14, I think we won the battlefield position. We punted and pinned them deep a bunch of times. And last year, they kind of won the battlefield position and took advantage of some special teams plays to put themselves in a better situation from that deal when, points were at a premium when you're going against two pretty good, defenses.
Well, while those particular teams may have been a little bit similar, statistically speaking, it looks like the teams are quite the opposite this year. Your team has done a very good job passing, third in the conference in scoring, third in the conference in passing, 373 yards a game in total offense. Lebanon Valley, meanwhile, is eighth in the conference in scoring. They're eighth overall in total yards with 318 yards. They're last in the conference in passing with 95 yards per game, but they're first in the conference in running at 223 yards. They have a new head coach this year, so has their philosophy changed at all from the past?
I think they're very still similar offensively what they were, their identity, but they are a little bit more prominent towards the run. They have 3 running backs that they use, all interchangeably all the time, and they kind of bring a little bit different things to the table. But they all run downhill. They run hard. They have good vision. Their line is big and move. Their quarterback is a very good runner. So they have the tools to run the football, and they're willing and able to do it on any down and distance situation.
The quarterback is a junior. His name is Tim Perrone. He's only thrown 50 passes this year, completing 23 of them for 273 yards with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. But as you said, he is a good runner. He's rushed for 163 yards on 29 carries and has scored 3 times. Sophomore tailback Brendan Irving leads the team with 185 yards, and the 2 other backs that you referred to, Ryan Fink and John Jones, have 148 and 125 yards respectively. So you have 4 guys there with at least 125 yards on the year. So what do they bring to the table? Are they different style runners, or are they kind of the same?
I think from the tailbacks, there's different style runners. I mean, we think the Fink kid, his cutting is exceptional. From there, the Jones, he's a downhill, get his pads low, and be a downhill type of a runner. And then Irving's a little of a combination of the two. He's a little slippery, gets through the holes. He's got really good vision. So they're kind of have their own little differences and nuances to run. And again, they are a run first type of a team. And they do some good things where with their ball handling, and then next thing the quarterback's pulling it and keeping it and running around there because they realize that he's a very athletic kid that can run very well. So they put him in a lot of situations where he's running QB sweep and QB power, quarterback draw. Plus, in the passing game, they'll get him on the edge, and if things are covered, he'll tuck it and go. So, he's a capable runner there, and they have three tailbacks that bring a little bit different style when they're in the game.
Well, the receiving game, they have 2 receivers who have caught 8 passes apiece, Mike Gavel and Travis Saylor. Is it a situation where maybe they try to lull you to sleep and then try to throw the big play downfield?
Yeah, we'll see from there. I mean, again, they want to run it, and then they want to be able to throw it when they want to throw it, and they catch people, off guard. And as soon as you start sneaking up and putting more guys in the box, or committing everybody to the run, and you kind of get lulled to sleep or forget about one of their guys. Next thing you know, he's run across your face and getting behind you in the secondary, and then they get a big play throwing the football. So the challenge we told our DBs is if you're a pass first guy, is you got to be thinking pass on every down and be able to respond when they actually do throw the ball.
Well, with your offense averaging 312 yards a game, which is tops in the conference, the Lebanon Valley defense has done a very good job against the pass, and it ranks first in the conference and only allowing 147 yards a game. So talk about that defense and what your passing offense needs to do to be successful.
Yeah, the passing, we got to get back in the rhythm. I mean, we had, like I said, too many unforced errors with drops and bad passes. There were guys that were open, so we got to kind of get back to throw and catch. from that standpoint, and then find the seams. I mean, they bring pressure, and then be able to know where that pressure is coming from. Protect our quarterback, and then be able to try to exploit the pressure so we can move the ball through the air.
Well, I know you'd like to see the running game get a little bit more productive. They're probably not where you would like them to be. What do they have to do in order to get the production that you would like?
Again, be in a rhythm and stay on schedule, and then but we talked that we have to be able to establish the run and get some running attack going to get a little more balance with the offense, because then that'll help the overall aspect of it and be able to help us move down in the field from there. So sometimes our backs have sometimes they're looking for the perfect hole where they got to understand where the hole is, and then lower their shoulders and get us 4 instead of trying to maybe get us 10. From that standpoint, then our O line is keep their feet moving on contact and communicating with each other, and then that's getting better. So in practice it's improving, and we got to take it to the field, and hopefully we get our running game going on Saturday.
Well, Coach, with it being homecoming this weekend, it's obviously a very exciting day for the players. Is it a deal where you have to worry about the players getting perhaps a little bit too geeked up for the game?
I don't think so, because I think that was one of our issues on Saturday. They were excited about the challenge of playing a nationally ranked team, and we kind of told them the opportunity and ready, and then we'll look at it as this is my fault of not having them, or getting them maybe too geeked up because we didn't kind of handle that situation well, where our emotions kind of got the best of us, and lost our composure at times with some of the dumb penalties as we were trying real hard to play with a good team. So we talked about just being calmer, relaxed, just do your job and enjoy the game, and that's why you play it, and just worry about ourselves and not who we play shouldn't dictate how we play from there. So we try to talk to our kids about that this week, and do a better job on my end of making sure they're in the right frame of mind to play on Saturday and not be too emotional for their opponent.
Well, there's a lot of great and exciting things that are happening on homecoming, a lot of honors and awards and the festivities and such, but one of the really, really neat things that we have is the 3rd annual Father Sullivan Award. It's going to be presented pre-game. Would you care to talk about that award? I know you're involved in the process, and obviously the winner is not going to be announced until before the game Saturday, but talk about that, what that award means to the program.
Yeah, it's really a nice award. It's established. Richard Adams, one alum who played football, back when the school, first opened shortly thereafter. Him and his classmates had a really good connection, with Father Sullivan, and then wanted to find and he was very supportive of football and all things related to King's College, and they just wanted to find an award to honor him, as he was a good mentor, and a kind of a friend to his class, from there. So the award is kind of evolved that it goes to a junior or a senior player who's one, a good teammate, a good student, a good ambassador to King's College, who's kind of sold out on everything King's, and is willing to help anybody and just be a good good person and stand for what King's College is all about. So we're very proud of Chris Matthews and Chad Curtis, who were the past recipients, and this year's recipient is equally as worthy as those.
Well, Coach, that's all the time we have for today. We will see you in the Monarchs on Saturday at homecoming with Lebanon Valley College in a 1 p.m. kickoff. Thanks again, Coach.
Thank you.